welcome
Howdy.
Hello, hello.
to the Har Har Podcast. I'm your host, DorkyDev. Today I'm joined by Toarn and the artist formerly known as Jim the Jerk. Jim, also known as Eclectric. I'm so bad at it. I was close the first time off screen,
It's
I swear.
Not that hard of a word.
Eclectic.
Don't worry, I got electric, illicit, a lot of different names on the first day of the name change, so you're fine. It was close enough.
I feel I did better off screen when I talked about it. Like, that's how it always goes, though. So, how's everyone's week been?
It's been good, man. A lot of great movies. Yeah, it's just been the same old though. I'm pretty sure you guys already talked about John Wick 3.
Yep.
Pokemon, Endgame came out. We've had tons of movies come out, so it's been kind of nuts. Pretty crazy.
It's been good, though. Like, I'm looking forward to some of the ones we have, like, scheduled up this year. Sorry, my light is really low suddenly. Like, hold on, let me just pull up the movie schedule real quick.
Well, I'm looking forward to, what is it, the new Spider-Man that's coming out.
Oh, God, Far From Home.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
I want to see if, Black Panther 2 doesn't come out till, like, I'm going to assume 2020.
Probably.
Yeah.
We got Godzilla this month as well, which
That looks.
I'm so
Kaiju
ready.
movies?
It's
I
a
think the
full
new Joker comes out this year, right?
Yes.
New Joker?
I want to say that's in November. Hold on, let me scroll down. Not November. Oh, October. First week of October.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, we got that one. And Star Wars comes out this year. New pictures
Yeah, about-
released.
I
I was
forgot
gonna say,
about that.
what is? It's not the Last Jedi. That was the last one. What is it?
It's Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, yeah.
Yep.
We got that coming out this year, so I look forward to it though so much.
I'm looking forward to it in multiple ways. Either one, it's going to be great, and
Mhm.
like it'll be an awesome movie, or two, it's going to be terrible, and it'll just be done. It was kind of like the last episode of Game of Thrones. Like it was really shitty, but
I'm
the
missing
fact
out.
that it was shitty made me like not so upset.
I'll say
that it
this,
was-
as someone who binge watched, I watched the first season like 3 years ago, I
Mhm.
think, and then caught up from a week before this season started to 3 episodes in. I watched all of Game of Thrones, completely caught up. Personal
Mhm.
opinion, and maybe it's just because of the way I watched it, and I have a completely different experience than everyone who's waited. It's not my favorite show, and I know I'm gonna get persecuted for it. I mean, it's just
If you had said that a week ago, you would be persecuted. I don't.
I was
think
persecuted like
Not
3 weeks
anymore.
ago when I
Yeah.
said that, and you guys were on. You and Soy were like, "What?"
Well, at the time, it was the greatest show of all time.
Mhm.
After Sunday, it is no longer.
I still
I
stand
plan
by
on binge
Breaking
watching
Bad.
it soon.
I will always
I
stand
haven't
by
seen it. I
Breaking
haven't
Bad.
seen Break.
You need
I haven't
that
seen
is
that
a
yet
show
either.
you need to watch. Like,
I'm like, I watch weird shows. I don't know if you guys have heard of the show on Netflix called You. I'm watching
I've
that
heard
right
about
now.
it. It looks weird as fuck, though.
Yeah, so I'm into weird things, I guess you could say.
Isn't that the one where he's like he's a stalker, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, that one. Whoa.
yeah.
Whoa.
It starts off so great. Well, like you're rooting for him at the start, and then it automatically clicks into the stalker part, and you're like, I don't know if I want to root for this guy, but he seems nice. I don't know.
It's sort of like the Hannibal and Dexter kind of syndrome, where like
I want to say,
you know-
yeah, just about.
you know they're not someone you should root for, but you root for them anyways, kind of thing.
I don't. Dexter like slaughters serial killers. Like, I mean,
True.
I am perfectly comfortable rooting for that guy. He knows he's got a problem and he uses it to make the world a better place. I'm okay with that.
Yet another show that also ended terribly, though.
Shit happens. But I don't think there's any situation where you can use I have the power of stalking and I'm going to use it for good, other than like maybe
Well, you can
hunting
also, if you're a good
terrorists,
stalker,
but-
you can keep your friends from also running into bad people because you're really good at just deep diving into other people around you.
That's very true.
You can have the perfect network of people who are going to help propel you forward and keep those people propelling forward as well.
No. No, that is still absolutely an invasion of space.
Oh, it's an invasion of space, but you know, it's not a. It's the least worst form of it.
That's like saying I only kind of raped you. That's like that. There is no nice
Well,
way of
again,
doing
then
it.
Dexter's not a good person because he murders people, even if they are murderers.
He murders terrible people. Is
Right.
The thing. Yeah.
All right, well, fair. There's
an acceptable extreme situations for killing people, like Nazis and terrorists and rapists and things like that.
Mhm.
Like that is society has deemed that they are killable and that's a good thing. Like no society has not ever deemed that like this person because they're so bad is rapeable. Like that is not okay. Like there's no situation where that's acceptable. You aren't saving someone, you aren't protecting the greater good. You're just generating fear.
Light from Death Note. Oh, I don't. Death Note.
Death Note was awesome until that's actually another show that. So you guys have both watched it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert for anyone that's watching. So that's another
You
show.
should have already seen it by now.
If you haven't seen it by now, which is why I'm saying this, like if you haven't seen it by now, that's your fault. But like that's another show that the ending like ruined it for me. So like for example, like when Light for the first time comes across, and I can't believe I'm blanking on his name, the Shinigami.
Ryuk, I think.
Yeah, Ryuk. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
So the first time he meets Ryuk, he's like, "Okay, I'm about to die," and he like accepts that. He says, "Like I knew going into this that like this would be my fate eventually," and he's like, and that was badass to me. And then the end of the show, he's just like a crying little
babbling.
bitch.
Yeah.
And it was like, it just ruined the character for you there at the very end.
Because towards the end of it, he's kind of all powerful at the end in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's essentially feels invincible at that point. Like,
and then it clicks that he's no longer invincible.
Yeah, like earlier in the series, he wasn't as powerful as he made himself to be. He still was vulnerable as powerful as he made himself to be. But that was the thing, he was still vulnerable. So as soon as he got that taken away from him, his humanity came back and he's like,
he's back to being a child again.
Oh shit, I fucked up.
Yeah. And I'm dying, and that's it. That's essentially it.
Because he was on the cusp of his goal.
Well, he lost the nobility of his cause, which was the worst part of it. Like, I mean, you may not agree with his methods, but a lot of people, like, I think everyone who watches that show to an extent is like, maybe he's right. Maybe this is how we kind of... And maybe that was intentional, that they're like, this is what those feelings actually are. It's you really shouldn't feed into that, but it felt bad.
And that's the thing.
Extent he went to.
Well, and the other thing is, it's, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. And he had absolute power. Like,
not really.
He was as close to someone in that world could get to absolute power.
I still would argue he wasn't all that powerful. He still wasn't like no one knew who he was. He wasn't like walking around openly. He still had to hide regularly. Yes, he had a lot of supporters, but he was not even to the point of like nation states recognizing him. That's not all powerful.
And even like an accident could have just killed him, right?
Yeah, that's...
All right, that's fair. Again, like as close to, but like the power he had to kill people, essentially. He had the ability to kill anyone.
Again, no, not really. Like, he doesn't know everyone. He doesn't know everyone's face. He doesn't know everyone's name.
And a face. That's all he needs, name and face. Which,
that wasn't
invented, that show didn't run when the internet was as big as it is today, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
You weren't able to just Google someone and have their name and info pop up. Yeah.
God. Another thing this fucking movie could have tried.
The Netflix? Oh,
I hate that movie because it butchers the source material and it shits on Seattle, and I hate it.
I got 2/3 way through the movie and I just said, nah, I'd rather slam my dick through a door. and not watch this anymore. I just walked away after. I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish it. It was
See,
bad.
I knew it would be bad. I didn't even like want to do it because I knew it would ruin it for me.
And now Cowboy
Like,
Bebop.
There's,
I have yet
there's,
to,
there's
I have
a
yet to see a
chance.
live action anime
That's been
movie
good,
that
right?
That's they don't.
Pokemon!
They just,
Pokemon is, but that's a little. That's
but they don't. That doesn't follow the story of Pokemon. If we had a
Yeah.
Well,
live
it
action like
does-
Ash,
it
live
does.
Ash or
Pikachu.
Red.
yeah, that would be terrible.
Well, the
That-
thing, no, I think of live action Red would be good. Not Ash. Don't do Ash, because Ash is an incompetent shithead. Okay, he hasn't beaten a single league. He's gone
So it's
through
come so
7.
close yet so far.
He is. He's always in the last fucking fight, and then it's like,
Yeah.
huh? And just throws it. So, not Ash, because all of us who have grown up and understand the games now, are as adults, are like, Ash, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I get that there's a soft reboot every time, or a soft reset for Pikachu every time they go to a new league. All right, fine, I can live with that. But everything else,
I would argue that even Red would not, and here's why. So Red had for I don't know if you know, but Red had an anime, and it was
well,
really
yeah,
good.
it was we
It-
watched
it-
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's,
it was
it's,
short-lived.
what is it?
Kanto or something like that.
It's
But so Red is a silent character. Like he doesn't ever speak, because he's supposed to be like from a player's point of view. And in an anime and with that art style, you can make that work.
Generations. There it is.
But if you had an entire movie of a main character who just like stares at people, do you know how fucking awkward that would be? Like that. Like you could do maybe like even a live action like cinematic, but you could not do a live action movie.
You would need a companion that talks. That's it.
Yeah.
That would be the only way to fix
But
that.
even then,
Yeah,
like,
it
that's
would still be
right.
kind of awkward. Yeah.
and then you
Oh,
got like some,
no.
and then they just like stares at you, and then
Spikes the fucking camera.
yeah. Although I would love to have, what's his name, Andy with he loves shorts. He's like the first person you ever battle in the game.
Oh. the,
Joey?
Yeah, Joey.
Youngster Joey.
Youngster Joey just like running around smart mouthing everybody. I would be down with that.
is the best. Yeah,
I would be okay. I would be okay with a live action movie starring youngster Joey, but as he just like berates people.
Well,
that
and that's the
walks
thing. We could
around his
also
house.
get other generation stories in there. Like, you know what would be a great story? Gen 2. Like, the story of Gen 2 doesn't get as much coverage because, one, the actual cartoon with Ash deviates heavily from what actually happens in Johto after the first game. So,
oh, that's true.
you could tell that story, like, straight up. Just tell it, and, like, though Gen 2 is synonymously, like, known as one of the best gens, it's not as, like, the Pokemon are imprinted in people's mind, but not the character himself, like Silver. Isn't that him? Isn't it Silver and Gold's the other guy?
I think Gold is supposed to be the
main
guy.
And Silver's the other?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Crystal's the female protagonist. So, like, you could tell that story. Because it's not as imprinted as, like, Red or more recent generations, because those are more recent. It's the...
I would argue that, like, people might say it's a little repetitive because even though, like, Ash and them didn't follow the storyline of 2 all that well, a big part of 2 was like Togepi and Red Gyarados, and both of those were fully explored in the show.
True.
Then
Then we don't have to explore those as much, is the thing.
but then there's not as much in Gen 2.
I will counter that with the legendary dogs and their story in that, which you could cover differently because they're the story in the movies and the story in the games deviate a lot because you only get 2 of the dogs in movies with the third movie and the second movie with Entei and Suicune.
Yeah.
So you can cover that, like what actually happens kind of thing, or you can also go over the fact that Giovanni's son, who is hinted at in the original gen as Silver, But in Soul Silver, Heart Gold, you find out he is his son. And Giovanni disappeared. Team Rocket's reemerging, trying to get a foothold in Johto.
Did they confirm that in Soul Silver? Because I never
you
played
could
that
time
one.
travel back in time and see Giovanni talking to Silver.
Whoa!
No, more time travel.
They added time travel in Soul Silver? What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, it's
People need to calm down, okay?
Everything I've dealt with in the last couple weeks has been time travel.
Well, I will say this, like, one of the things I hated about Gen 2 was that Team Rocket was like such a fucking joke. Like you
well, they have been completely destroyed is the thing.
Yeah, but like then why even have them make an appearance? Like they're there and then you're like, "Oh, it's the first
They're
Team Rocket
recognizable. That's
dungeon. So we're going to like save the slowpokes and that'll be the first time we ever like play go up against Team Rocket and then you beat them and they're like, "Okay, we're done." And you never see them again.
why. You
It's
see them
like-
throughout, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember my because I watched the Nuzlocke from Team 4-Star when they did it.
Or sorry, you fight them when they take the slowpoke tails, and you fight them in the radio tower.
Yes, Radio Tower, which is a cool fight because fucking what isn't his name Blake, the dragon tamer from the Elite Four shows up, or Drake. Is his name Drake?
Yeah,
It's one or the other.
he's like around.
Yeah.
But he fights with
Oh.
you in Soul. You team battle with him against them.
That's not in the tower. That's in that's during the Red Gyarados mission.
They redid it in the later version, the Heart Gold Soul Silver. You team battle with,
I don't count remakes, man. That's not real.
but they've added to the story is the thing. What I'm trying to say. So
like they add Mew to those games. Like it's not real. It's like a Game Shark. It's not the actual thing. So
it's fine. But it's
in the real Silver and Gold, you only get to use Drake during the whatchamacallit mission, during the Red Gyarados mission.
But it'd still be cool to fight, like see that fight and end that movie there. In part 2, you get through the Elite Four and then fight Red at the end. Like that is your end climax fight is Gold and Red fighting on top of Mount Silver. Like, come on, that fight would be so cool.
As a live action.
Animated, yes. Live action, no. Not in the slightest.
Okay, because one of my favorite scenes from the Pokemon Pikachu movie was the fight where you see Gengar fighting a Blastoise. Just because
I haven't seen it yet, so be careful what you say.
But it's really cool. Like it looks how you would imagine it would look in real life.
An actual Pokemon battle to look like, yeah.
Like it feels real.
It's good. Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. And seeing some of those other fights would be so cool. Like, I don't know.
I think we need to ask you after you've seen the movie and like see what you think after. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, but I would argue that like that battle was not like. So I'm assuming his partner guy was not like yelling out, "Cast Thunderbolt, use agility." Like that wasn't how that fight was going, was it?
No, but
right. Okay,
more,
so
Yeah.
the
So
Pokemon kind of understand what they're doing.
I don't think a trainer battle would be as intense. Like it would just come off as silly for like some like imagine like Tom Hanks going
Use
"You
Thunderbolt."
Stream Eater. Like it doesn't.
Okay,
it's
that's a
not
fair
gonna work.
counter, but we can use what you said about Red originally. It could be like Gold can talk, but going up against Silver, and Silver doesn't have to. Or sorry, Red doesn't have to say anything during the fight because he just
stares at you with murder eyes.
pretty much
And that
like
would-
he's just that intimidating, and he just
would
looks
just
at
be-
his Pokemon, and they just.
Yeah, and you don't see how that would be hella awkward. Like that would.
I still think it would be cool. Okay,
Just
let
stands
me
there
live
and
out my
whenever he's doing something,
fantasies.
just snaps or just looks down.
He's just constantly switching between like the poses that he does in like 2D pictures of just like and that's all he does in the background the entire time. Does the
People are
little
moving
shoulder
normally.
thing from like during like the Mountain Moon mission or whatever it is. Oh, that would be I would be okay with that as long as it didn't take itself seriously, but they always do.
I want to see
They
this
always
Pokemon movie. I don't think this Pokemon movie took itself super serious. Right?
That's part of the
So,
thing. Like that's part of its
Yeah.
charm, which needs to be.
Yeah,
So.
but it might work
Like
out.
I would be okay with like a scary movie version of a live action.
Oh,
If
dude.
they do the creepy pasta.
Yeah.
There's so much you could do with scary Pokemon. Like, oh, dude.
No, not like when I say scary movie, I don't mean like it's like a terror movie. I mean like
Mhm.
scary movie. The series is not.
Oh, you meant like
actually-
that. Okay.
Like it's all of it's a joke.
Okay.
Like that's what I meant. Like I would be okay with that. I think that could go well. But
There's a lot that they can do. Is the big thing. So.
yeah.
A lot of options. A lot of options.
And I look forward to them so much. Because, like, apparently they want to make, other, spin-off movies from it, so...
Okay, yeah. So here's, and I know I've been sounding like negative. I don't think that live action Pokemon movies are bad. I think there's absolutely a market for that. I just
Oh,
don't
yeah.
think they should. I don't think they should follow the games.
That's fair.
Or the
and
anime.
In my opinion,
Like-
they should have their own stories as well.
Like for example, in some of the more recent games, they've referenced like a world war that involved Pokemon and like people.
I
dying.
would. That would be legit.
And can you imagine that like as a movie? That would be great. And that's a storyline that hasn't been explored. It would be much more adult compared to like the games and the anime. Like I would be all down for that.
The only problem that I see with what you said there is, though, more adult, because they want to make sure they hit that kid audience if they're making these films.
I'm pretty sure Detective Pikachu was pretty adult, right? I'm like, was it not?
No, it was
mean,
kind of like half-half. It
There
depends.
were the jokes that adults get,
Mhm.
and kids would have no idea what's said. But for them, and I mean, there's some more adulty story points to it. It's a teen movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, and that may be Nintendo may do that, want to hit but I think that's a missed opportunity.
Well-
A good chunk of like Pokemon fans are adults. It's a generational thing at this point.
Well, and that's the
So-
thing. I would say that, again, the best way to do it is kind of hit that middle ground audience where you can target all so you can get your demographics, together for it. Because that's what this film did really well. I think it was rated PG-13, or was it?
It might have been
PG?
PG.
I think it was PG, actually. Now I think about it. But
Did it-
its tone was definitely a teen. It's not like
Teen, yeah.
Well, it was definitely a teen film. So like if they're able to kind of keep that kind of tone to it, one, it pleased the shit out of me, and two, there was a bunch of kids in the audience who were super happy the entire time. So like win-win.
No,
I feel like my friends are in the theater were the ones that were talking the most compared to the kids.
There was a group behind me, over my shoulder, who kept talking the entire time. The only time I accepted talking during it was there's a little kid like a few seats over that was like, Pikachu! And I just was like, that was fucking adorable, kid. God damn it. Shut the fuck up, but damn it. Where's the rating on here? Oh, it doesn't say on here. Hold on. Let me go to IMDb.
But I think you're right. Like, you can do a live action Pokemon movie, but a live action anime movie, there hasn't really been too many good ones that come out.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
You know which one
Netflix
was
is-
good? Full Metal Alchemist.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Bleach. I haven't seen Initial D.
That was sarcasm. It was bad.
It's bad.
Bleach
Don't
was
waste your time.
honestly not terrible, though. It was...
And-
I don't even want to say passable, but it was
Mhm.
entertaining, at least. I'll say
What
that.
about Rurouni Kenshin? Have you seen those? Were they any good? I
I did not
haven't
see
given
those.
it. Oh, okay.
I haven't seen those.
Full Metal Alchemist was bad but it had one of my fucking favorite moments in any of it so far. Was how Gluttony, how he opens his body to eat?
Mhm. Yeah.
They did that with prosthetics on his body. So he's chasing a group of people with prosthetics on his body going and
I'm
waddling
gonna have to
down
find
the
that on
hallway.
YouTube later.
It's on Netflix. So
I'll
it's a
I'll
Netflix
zoom in,
original. You could just
try to find that spot.
it's so dumb. And the other killer part of it was that the CGI for the putties kind of things. I can't remember their name.
No, make sure you find it on YouTube. Don't actually like pull it up on Netflix because then their stats are gonna go up. And we don't want to support them making
That's-
any more.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fair point.
Okay.
Don't pirate films, kids.
Yeah.
I'm just watching a highlight. That's it.
If you're looking for a scene, YouTube it. Don't actually like pump
Support
those
them.
numbers up.
Support the shitty movie.
Well, it would be one thing to like support the one movie, but if people keep doing that, then they're gonna be like, oh look, this is a winning strategy.
We gotta make another one.
We gotta make some more.
Oh no, they left that movie completely open-ended for a sequel as well.
You know what would be great is a live-action fruits basket. That's what the world needs right now. Fuck no.
It's popular. We should do it. It was so bad. Well, it's like there was another film that I recently watched that was probably the worst film I've ever seen in theaters. It was Hellboy.
Oh, that came out recently. I forgot about that.
Good. It deserved
Save
to be
yourself some money.
forgotten. Because and it sucked because me and Steven talked about it while we like that week because we went over that and the original. But like films like that, who are like it was bad. Like there's a lot of levels to the bad that was there. But
It's
especially
crazy though.
well,
They're great actors, right?
No, yeah, the actors were
Yeah.
good in it. Like I
Yeah.
said this, the actors weren't bad.
Mhm.
You could just tell they had to give up after a certain point because they knew how bad the film had gotten.
That can't
Which
be
is
as bad as
rough.
like The Legend of Chun-Li. Like that's on another level of bad.
It's rough. Like that's the best way to
Yeah.
put it. It's like there's a joke in the film where he says "Don't lose your head," but instead of having some sort of tone to it, he's just like he cuts the person's head off and starts to throw it into this pit of fire, and he's like, "Don't lose your head," and just throws it.
And they just kept it. They were like, don't shoot
You
it
could
again.
tell
Let's
it
just-
was like, well, apparently there was a lot of production issues, like fighting between the company and between the director, and like the
Gotcha.
directors and the writers were fighting. There was just a lot of infighting, to the point where the actors are like, "What the fuck is going on?" So like, it all shows too. There's like, me and Steven talked about it. You could break that film up into 3 good films with how many plot points they try to cover. It's rough. But it's the worst film I've ever seen in theater, is the problem. Like, it didn't beat Death Note, I'll say that.
Mhm.
Because there were still more entertaining moments overall. Which isn't a high bar, I'll say.
So, what about you, Eclectic? What's the
Mhm.
worst movie you've seen in theaters?
Okay, easy. 100% the easiest thing I've ever seen, like was misled. But I don't know if you've ever seen The Lovely Bones.
I've heard of it.
Okay, so the trailer plays it out like it's gonna be a murder mystery, something amazing. You get to the theater, you watch it, and I left wondering what the fuck did I just watch? It wasn't like, I don't know how to explain what happened. Like, a murder did happen in the movie, but you go from girl like and her father trying to find the killer to the girl figuring out I'm dead and I've accepted like purgatory, and I'm jumping through fields and meeting other dead people, and I had to sit through it. I sat through them.
Sounds like Cloud Atlas. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I've seen the trailer. I never got a chance to
Cloud
watch
Atlas
it.
was in the worst. Is that the one with Tom Hanks in it?
Yeah, Tom Hanks plays in it.
Yeah.
I would argue. So I don't. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I would definitely argue it's the worst movie Tom Hanks has ever been in.
I can agree.
But like the entire time, you're just like, it wasn't necessarily like the scenes were beautiful. The acting that was actually pretty good. But the entire time, you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, it's because
Like-
they tell like 6 different stories.
Yeah,
over the
it's
cross
time
of 2
hops.
hours.
But there's time hops, but for the most part, they don't. They're unrelated.
They don't
until like a certain point of their story. Like until the very end of their story, one thing happens which just happens to influence the other.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
worst.
not even something like big. It's just like they're kind of like the same. But it's like, yeah, and they've got all the same actors. They have like 5 or 6 actors that play a different role in each timeline, and so you've got to like try and keep track of like
which version they are.
Which version of Tom Hanks is this again? Is this the Nazi Tom Hanks or is this the homeless Tom Hanks? I can't remember. And it's just, it was very poorly
Is this the
done.
futuristic caveman Tom Hanks?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, again, it wasn't necessarily bad. It was just, what is it? And
It wasn't what you expected, essentially, right?
Yeah, and they tried to like act as if there was like some all-encompassing moral thing, but there wasn't. It just kind of ended, and you're like, I don't know what happened. But to get back on topic a little bit, the worst movie I ever saw in theaters, in my opinion, was Aragon.
Okay, yeah, never mind. I forgot I saw that in theaters. Shit, I just had flashbacks again. Every time I forget about that film until someone says its fucking name, and then I go back to that theater I was in. Because, oh god, did you read the book beforehand too?
I loved the books.
The book is so good.
Yeah, the entire series is so great. And then that movie was just, oh my word.
What, it's like an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 30 minutes?
They shit on the film and just put it on the reels and then played it for you guys.
Pretty much.
They made there's so much wrong with it, but the one thing I always latch onto is they gave a dragon. The dragon had feathers.
Yeah.
Dragons do not have fucking feathers. That is not how they work.
I hate it because they skipped a lot of important stuff from the book, like the training sessions, like all of that.
Training sessions, yeah. Well, and then I think I actually remember the name Trondheim or whatever the name of the dwarven city. Like, they just had like a fucking cave in the movie, like with Lost Boys fucking tree houses, and that was what they made of the dwarven capital city of Trondheim. And it was, oh my god, it fucking pissed me off, because if you read the books and how they describe that city, it's ridiculous. And then there's like, well, we've got like a cave that we found like
we've got a cave and we still have the props from Robin Hood from the, the 1990s Robin Hood. Yeah, why don't we use those?
The from Hook, is that the one you're talking about?
No, the Robin Hood with what's his name? Hold on, I think it's 1990 or 1980 something. Hold on.
Well, like it was basically the stuff from Hook that Robin Williams with all the Lost Boys, like their tree houses, like they took that and stuck it in a cave.
1991,
and that's what they ended up using.
With, the Robin Hood where Kevin Costner plays Robin Hood, where they have like the tree houses for the it's a guilty pleasure film for me. I will say that because me and my brothers were huge into that kind of fantasy-esque kind of worlds. And they had a bunch of tree houses that they would, shoot at the knights from with their arrows. It was kind of cool, okay? But that's exactly what I thought of when I saw that scene. Like, it was like, this is Robin Hood. What the fuck?
Yeah, it was terrible. I was not upset when they didn't make a follow-up movie.
Aren't they gonna make a series out of it? I heard at one point.
I haven't heard anything about the Aragon series in like a decade, at least. It's been a long time. I don't even know what's the author's name?
Looking that up now.
Christopher Paolini. That's it. I haven't even like heard about him since. Like, he's probably just took his millions and like found them out somewhere.
I mean, understandably.
On an island.
Like, I don't blame him. But
how does it have a 5.1 on IMDb? What the fuck?
Is that the critics or that?
That's their rating on IMDb.
Okay, yeah.
They got paid.
Metacritic has it at 38, which is more acceptable.
So we may get another Aragon thing in like 40 years when he runs out of money, but until then,
I forgot John Malkovich was in that film. How did I forget John Malkovich was in that? Also, hello, Frankie.
what's up, Frankie?
Greetings.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. No, that movie, like, Aragon just destroys its source material. Especially, like, if we're going to compare it to other source material destroying films, that is one of the worst.
Legend of Chun-Li. I'll say it again. Just Legend of Chun-Li. I don't know if you're into fighting games and whatnot, but that's probably one of the worst films ever too. That destroys the source material 100%. It's bad.
Wait, it's got Michael Clark Duncan in it, and I haven't seen it? How haven't I seen this?
Oh, what's the girl's name from Smallville? What's her name? She's the main character. She plays Chun-Li, I think.
Christy. Wow. She plays Chun-Li.
Yeah, and then
Well, I can
one of
already
the main
tell
guys,
one of the
yeah.
main.
you can. So if you watch the interviews of that cast when they're talking about the movie, I think it might be Chris Pine. No, I forgot his name, but he just looks so dead. He looks so dead
Chris
in his
Klein.
eyes.
Chris Klein.
Yes, Chris Klein, and he looks just so miserable talking about
he
the
was
movie.
in this? Oof.
you gotta watch.
Neil McDonald is in this as
Yeah,
Bison.
Look at the
What?
cast. It's a crazy cast, but it's a horrible movie.
Wait, is this by who I think it might be by? Yep, it is. And Anzi, whatever his name is, he's done some terrible fucking films.
Yeah, that's what happened.
What are? Because he did some of the other, like other video game movies. I thought.
There's never been a good
There's
video game
Doom.
movie.
Detective Pikachu. It's gonna be my default now, because
Yeah, Detective Pikachu is the only one that I can kind of count. But
well, I
if
will
it's something
say,
that, go ahead.
Tomb Raider wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible. I'll give you that. Tomb Raider wasn't terrible.
It's
That's
very middle of the road.
yeah. But in terms of like taking the source material and then like butchering it, Legend of Chun-Li will do it.
That's on the list now for me and Steven.
Terrible movies to watch. It should be one of them that you guys subject yourselves to or subject yourselves to.
Have we mentioned Avatar yet?
Which one? We've already.
couldn't
And
bring
I've already
myself to
watched
watch-
that.
I've watched
We've
parts
already
of
done
it, yeah.
The bad
I couldn't-
Avatar. Because there is a good Avatar.
I couldn't. I couldn't
There's a
finish that
mediocre
either.
Avatar. Okay.
At the time, its CGI was amazing.
Top notch, yeah, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
When it-
I've never not said that movie looks stunning. I will say that again.
Mhm.
Looks good.
It's an M. Night Shyamalan film, right?
Are you talking about
That-
Avatar: Last Airbender? Yeah, we did an M.
Yeah.
Night Shyamalan month, and that's how we ended it.
It's so crazy because he's had like some hits, and then there's just total bombs that are bad, or really bad, right?
Yeah, I think he's only got 4 hits, like classic hits.
Yeah.
With
Sorry.
or 4. He's got 3 hits, and I'd say 2 passables, and then the rest are kind of. Because you got Unbreakable and
Unbreakable,
Sixth Sense,
yeah.
and Split
There you go.
as the 3 crowning jewels
Good
of
hit,
his
okay.
career. Signs and The Visit. They go to see their grandparents. Those 2 as like the middle road, like, and then everything else falls into
Oh, and
the
then you get
trash.
like Glass and
I don't know
everything.
about
The Village.
Fucking Glass. That would hurt, dude.
That's his multiverse. That's what he's working towards. That's his end game.
That hurt so much. Like, I watch Cinema Wins. I've weaned myself off of Cinema Sins. Because Cinema Wins just is so much more positive, and just it kind of lightens my day. You know, it makes my day better.
Makes you feel
I like
better.
It does, and and they truly appreciate what film is. And he did his Glass, everything great with, or everything great about Glass. And even at the end, he had given it a lot of points. But at the end, he's even like, I don't know if it's just because, you know, some stuff happened recently, or if this film really did get to me that much, but I still don't enjoy this film. I've tried. You know it's bad when the guy who's made his YouTube career about positives in film can't even
Can't find anything to say, anything nice to say. Not even. That's sad. That's pretty sad.
Like, there was so much built up for it. Like, they could have.
They could have gone a crazy route, right? Essentially.
Yeah. He could have done so much more to do, like, to take his narrative about the superhero culture we live in and ran with it, but he just craps on it. It sucks. I feel hurt by that film. So it's one of those moments where you don't. When we got done with it, like our review was kind of like, God damn it, man. It was rough. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I feel like this year especially has been very, like, miss, hit, miss with films as well that have released. So, it's tough, you know?
Yeah, well, we're getting, like, great Marvel films, right? And then Phoenix is kind of like a toss-up, I think, right? Dark Phoenix is a toss-up
Oh,
right now.
God, yeah. Is it Last Stand or Days of Future Past?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know how that works out when they get absorbed into Disney, right? That's because that's going to happen. So the X-Men
Yeah,
and
officially
a bunch of those
their own
characters,
bite now. That's why this movie got pushed back and New Mutants got pushed back again.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still being released.
And
I
it's
feel
not gonna
bad for
count
New
anymore.
Mutants
It's just
because
not going to matter.
New Mutants could potentially, if they do it right, New Mutants could be their take into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, who knows? Because you could just edit out the scenes where it connects to the old timeline and stuff like that,
True. Yeah.
and just do some reshoots and have this be the new timeline. It's the easiest softball that they could do with that, or just let it die with the rest of the franchise. Two options. So we'll see.
I don't know about that. I don't think they should necessarily let it die. I think I actually like Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. I think she's done that well.
100%. Yeah.
I think the guy who's I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I think the guy who's playing Xavier lately,
James
the young
McAvoy.
guy.
James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great too.
Well, he's
good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So I am happy to let the older generation of Fox Marvel stuff die. Like I don't need to see any more of Hugh Jackman Wolverine. I've seen enough of that. I don't need to keep getting confused seeing Captain Picard in a wheelchair. I'm okay with that, like, dying out. But I think a lot of, like, this newer generation of X-Men has a lot of potential that could be pursued, especially with, like, a Disney budget. So
yeah, I'm excited
Fox
to see
has
that.
always been held back by that. So
Just want to get a good Doctor Doom or Fantastic Four movie. I'll be
Dude,
happy.
for real.
Yeah. They finally did they have a great Spider-Man right now, right? So I'm pretty sure they
yeah.
can do a great Fantastic Four and Doom. Represent them well.
I
That's it.
would argue that none of the Spider-Men were bad, though. Like, we've always had a bad Fantastic Four movie. Like,
Yeah. There was never a great one. Yeah.
Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were both decent Spider-Men.
I always said Toby was a great Peter Parker over Spider-Man, and that Andrew was a great Spider-Man over Peter Parker.
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah,
with
that
that.
works.
And
Yeah.
Tom kind of is able to blend both of those together pretty well. He's quippy like Andrew, but nerdy like Toby. Like, which is the perfect balance, in my opinion.
But I'm really hoping that, if nothing else, they take Deadpool into the Marvel universe, MCU, because I would love to see some Ryan Reynolds with Tom Holland. That would be glorious.
I think it would be smart for Disney to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and they're never shy about blatant capitalism. So
Oh no.
as long as there's a market for it, they're going to do it.
They'll
They
do
don't-
it. Yeah.
Well, and
they're not.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, they're not about like maintaining the integrity of a universe or canon or anything like that. They throw that shit out the window all the time when they acquire new stuff. Just like look at Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's probably going to happen.
And they've gone back and retconned films in newer films anyways too, right? So
Yeah, with
it
Spider-Man
works out.
Homecoming,
Yeah.
8 years later, they were like, that wasn't supposed to be there. It wasn't 8 years later. The timeline's fine. Just ignore that scene.
Yeah.
The big one I'd say though that they could do though is, I've talked about this on other shows, but Fox Studios can just be for, if they're gonna do Marvel Cinematic Universe related films, that's where you can put your R rating. You push it further away from the Disney logo. Put Fox on there, which has done plenty of R-rated movies. It's a safer outlet to do the Deadpools, the Wolverines, the
and
Black
whatever
Widow.
R-rated crossovers that they'd like to do. Yeah.
It's a safe alternative. So it's scary.
Who would be a new Wolverine? So
Someone actually
Hugh
that
Jackman
height.
can't do it forever.
Yeah.
So
You can't.
Can we get someone who's actually like 5'5"?
And actually short. Actually just
please.
built an MMA fighter that could act, possibly. Like some flyweight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What? That's Wolverine is always like, it's always been the only major problem that people have had with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine is that he's
too big.
Yes,
He's too
too
tall.
tall. Wolverine is supposed to be what? I think he's 5'4" in the comics, if I remember correctly. He's short.
Yeah.
He's so fucking short.
that just makes it so much funnier.
It does, but he's also from the what? From fucking He's born before the Civil War, which the average height of a man was about that high. So like, and he's just lived out his life. So he's still average height for when he was born.
For 1792, yeah.
Yeah, he's still got that going for him, right? Early 1800s. But no, find someone who is that height, please, for the love of God. That would make my fucking day.
A short actor. That's just what it has to be.
Yes.
So, like, I would agree with that if it wasn't for the fact that he doesn't like really maintain anything else from being that fucking old. Like, Wolverine should have like the accent of a colonial Canadian, right?
He's adapted with the ages because he spoke the language, so accents get picked up after a certain point. Like, people have that happen all the time. And he had a bullet go through his brain.
It happens if you are young enough. So you actually, once you reach a certain age, you actually can't pick up new accents. And I'm pretty sure he didn't like pick up like 1990s New York accent like in the 1830s when
Okay,
he would have
listen
like
here.
maxed out his
I don't-
ability to like modify.
Let me have
So-
my short Wolverine, please.
Neuroplasticity does not work that way. So
Lived in Japan. You don't hear him speaking with like a Japanese accent.
All right, poke holes. All right.
And frankly speaking, he should be like super racist. Like, I mean, it's bad, but
That's kind of true.
but
Again, the bullet solved that issue.
Does he ever get his memory back? I don't remember. Like, is that something that
yes,
occurs
no,
in the
not
comics
in the
or the
movies.
shows?
I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah.
The movies never resolved that plot line.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They just let it be.
well, yeah, because they had a big thing about that in the second film, X-Men United, where it's like he's got to figure out his past. But then they're like, Dark Phoenix for Last Stand. So, meh. We'll see. I haven't even checked what other mutants even show up in the new one either. Apparently Toad's gonna be in it, rumored.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Toad's the new mutant though. He was in the first one.
Well, in the new, he was in the first one, but I'm saying like recast for this franchise kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like I saw the dude who played was what is it? Slipknot from Suicide Squad is in this, I believe. If I remember seeing the poster correctly. Which, God, I feel bad for him. Guy who played Slipknot, not like. There has never been a character that was so labeled going to die more than Slipknot. Like, here's all of our characters' introductions in this pre-lineup. And that's Slipknot. He's good with ropes when he shows up 30 minutes later. It's like, oh, so he's not important enough for this? Rick Flag gets an introduction montage, but he doesn't? And you're giving them
He's
explosives in their head. Alright, he's dead. Just, it bothers me.
You're mixing your universes, though, man. That's DC. We were on.
I know. It was one of those things that came to mind when I saw him. Right, I just had to rant about it again. Okay. It bothered me. Let it bother me.
So how many people have actually made the transition from like DC to Marvel or backwards? Because I know Ryan Reynolds did it.
It's the main one that I know. Yeah.
He's like the classic example of like
Ryan Reynolds, Ben Affleck did Marvel to DC because he was Daredevil.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
You got plenty of them from TV shows. Like you have the guy who played Dun Dun Dugan. I can't remember his name. I just talked about him though, because he played M. Bison in the John Lee movie you were talking about. But he played Dun Dun Dugan, and then he went over to CW to play Adrian Drake, I think was his name, from Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow. Played a villain there. You got but who else? You got and then there's a few others I'm just blanking on right now. There's plenty of people who played a hero before and failed the first time as well. Played a second one later. Like Chris Evans, though he wasn't terrible as Human Torch, I will say that. Just the films didn't do great for the second one. But he's transferred over to fucking Captain America. Brandon Routh, who played Superman in Superman Returns, is the Atom in the Arrowverse on Legends.
Yeah. So I think we can probably all agree that DC wins the TV.
The guy from DC. From Shazam.
Well, so Marvel obviously is wrecking it when it comes to movies, like DC.
Yeah.
Like, just can't do it, figure it out. But like, it's the opposite for like TV series. Like DC has it down.
And then
Arrow, Flash, all those are great.
Supergirl, Batwoman coming out, Legends, Black Lightning.
All of those are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then Marvel comes up with like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, what the fuck is that?
Agents
bullshit?
of S.H.I.E.L.D. is way better than you're giving it credit. I will fight you on that. The first season is slow, but as soon as the Winter Soldier movie happened and it affected the movie, holy shit, that show just takes off and it runs from there. And it runs really well. Did you watch past that point?
No, because it was garbage.
It's not garbage. How fucking dare you? It's a great goddamn show.
Part of being a good show is being able to keep someone past the first season. It didn't have that.
It kept a lot of people past the first season. And too, like, they have one of the coolest Ghost Rider arcs in it. They bring in Robbie.
Ghost Riders in that show.
Dude, Robbie Reyes was so good.
Yeah.
They did the LMD story, which was really great. Like, they've covered a lot of cool story arcs for that show.
Apparently, the guy that plays Ghost Rider is going to be in Terminator Dark
Yeah, he's
Fate,
playing the Terminator.
Right? The T-1000 or whatever it is.
The liquid thing.
Yeah.
The guy from Shazam, was he ever in a
Marvel film?
Which Marvel film was he in?
He played Fendrel from Thor.
Oh, that's right. He's one of the. You just don't recognize him because of the.
Yeah, he had blonde hair and blonde beard.
Yeah, he's in Thor. Yeah.
He's in Thor 2 and Thor 3.
But he's not really like a hero, right? He's just one
of
Thor's.
Hero, but he's a side hero.
Yeah.
How can I not remember? Zachary Levi. Oh my god.
Zachary Levi.
He's literally literally the star of my favorite show. Like, Chuck is my favorite TV show of all time. And
he's also, I think he was in Heroes too, right? He was in Heroes Reborn. Yeah.
Heroes Reborn. He was basically the main character in that one. Which it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It just kind of ended weird, and like the direction they took, it was just kind of awkward.
Yeah, and the fact that they like spent so that they killed off Claire was like just because felt like kind of weird. Like it would have been better off if they just like said we can't find Claire, she's not gone, as opposed to like having to like come up with like some really convoluted power schemes in order to kill her off. Yeah, so
well, that's always the worst when a character just gets killed off to the side. Like they don't get a proper exit.
Especially one as main as big as Claire, right? That's the thing.
Well, and they did that a lot. So like Claire, they like obviously they couldn't get her actress. Like a big part of that was they couldn't get her actress. Hayden Panettiere wasn't willing to be a part of the show. So, but I mean, there are other ways around that because they still made her a central focus of the show, which they didn't need to do. There was plenty of people to follow. So that was annoying. And then the other part of it was, oh gosh, what's his name? Hiro Nakamura.
The time traveling,
yeah, the dude's fucking awesome, but like he loses he has no powers, and I'm sorry, but that's just like so they were trying to do this like pass it on to the next generation thing,
and it just didn't work out, sadly.
They tried to do it too quick. Like they should have had at least like the first season of it be the few people of the old crew that they brought back. They still should have been like a heavy part of it.
Yeah,
and while they introduced all the new people, but they tried.
I remember watching the start of that because I actually never got to watch through Heroes, but I remember watching the first episode of that because I felt like my friend talked up Heroes really a lot.
It was a great series.
I heard the first season is awesome, and then from there it slowly kind of deteriorates.
Teetered, yeah.
But I also know they didn't plan to have more than one season.
So here's the thing about Heroes is that even when it was canceled, it still had great ratings. The problem that Heroes had was that at the time CGI was so expensive that even with as great a ratings they had, they weren't making they weren't making a profit. So like if Heroes were to start, like if the original Heroes were to be aired now, it would still be going because like CGI costs have gone down so much. But it was so heavy on all these additional costs that they couldn't maintain it. But no, it had great ratings all through the end, all throughout it. So it was really unfortunate. They made some like interesting story decisions based upon basically just some characters got overpowered in earlier seasons, and so they had to nerf them.
Tyler. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, Kyler, and then was it Peter? Was that his name?
Yeah. The brother, right? Of,
the younger brother.
Yeah.
He was like stupid overpowered after the first season, so they had to like nerf him. But other than that, like it was still a great show. Characters were really good. So it's unfortunate that it had to end, but that's how it works.
That's how it goes.
I actually enjoyed the first episode of Reborn, though. I remember watching it and kind of being like,
Reborn it was promising.
Reborn was really good. It just like
it was too quick.
It was too quick, and like I said, it focused too much on the new people. Like the new people were good; they did a good job. It just people were like hoping for a little bit more of like the old crew, so people couldn't get into it because they got disappointed really quick.
That's fair. I mean,
he spent like 3 seasons with the guys from Heroes, I think, right? And then suddenly it's pretty much a majority of a new crew.
Yeah, it's a whole
couple people. Yeah,
a whole new group, and their story arcs are really slow. So like Zachary Levi has a great story arc in Heroes Reborn, but like you don't really start to see it until at least halfway through the season, and a lot of people had dropped off by then.
It's always an issue.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's the other thing. Like with other shows, like, or not even just shows, but movies and stuff, where they like you talked about the Claire is her character's name, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's
just getting killed off to the side is just such a disservice to like some characters that happen, like because the impact they have, and like the prime example I think of is always Will Smith in Independence Day Resurgence, where they're like, oh yeah, your dad died in a test flight.
That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. I didn't watch the second movie, but
Yeah,
I saw how they killed him
I haven't
off.
seen either, but I heard
But
that,
they-
and I was like,
I'm like, what
the
happened to him?
fuck?
And you read about it, and they're like, oh yeah, he crash landed somewhere on a test flight, and that's it. He's just dead.
managed to fly one of those alien crafts.
Yeah,
No problem, first try.
crashes on a test flight. Just kills himself on accident. That's great.
Dude, he's such... Dude, the guy who pretty much made your film.
Well, as someone who was in the Air Force, most test flight deaths are not pilot error. It's usually some engineer forgot to put a screw somewhere important.
Oh Jesus
But
Christ.
usually,
Fair.
so he was not killed by aliens. He was not killed by being a bad pilot. He was just killed by
By an error by a mechanic that left something out.
He was killed by
improper
Boeing.
mathematics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than likely would have invented those alien flight things. Which,
So-
like, God, like, what? I gotta talk about it too. What's with us, like, watching films that are, like, films coming out that are so tied to older titles? Like, we have
The
MIB
nostalgia-
coming out right
it
now.
has to be the nostalgia. I'm planning on watching MIB just
Oh,
because.
dude, I'm so ready for it because I love MIB.
Yeah, and the two actors, right? You have Thor and you have Valkyrie, so
Right.
it has to be okay.
Chris
And
Hemsworth
then-
and Tessa
well-
Thompson has already proved
Yeah.
they have good chemistry on screen.
And Tessa's she's doesn't have like an English accent. She's gonna be from the U.S. flying overseas, right? So that's gonna be pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
I don't know. The MIB 2 sucked. That was really bad. The third one was pretty enjoyable.
3 was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I think MIB will work because MIB has never taken itself seriously.
That's true.
Like it was never really that deep of a story. So we're not like they don't have anything really to live up to. It's just antics and aliens and guns, and that's
Explosions
All you
and
need.
crazy cars. Yeah.
yeah. And based upon like so if you like go back and watch MIB 1, like
Mhm.
their antics are still funny. Like Will Smith's always funny.
Yeah.
But like the graphics were terrible. The like
What
scenes
the
and
bug
stuff.
looked great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so but there's a like that kind of stuff that's easy to improve upon nowadays.
Mhm.
So, and I mean,
The CGI is just
and Chris
better.
Hemsworth has already shown, if you've watched in game, that he can be funny.
He can be super goofy. Yeah.
He can be super goofy. So
Oh, and,
like
and
I
him and
think it's gonna
Tessa
be great.
rocked goddamn
Yeah.
Ragnarok. Like,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it should be good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Old films that are tied or new films. Ghostbusters now. There's gonna be a new one too, right?
Which is going to be
I
an
think they're rebooting
actual, which is actually going to be
actual-
Ghostbusters
yeah.
3.
Is it a sequel to?
It's a sequel to the original.
The
two.
original. Yeah.
The original. So not
The original-
not the
no,
one
not-
that, like just came out. Or
No.
whatever.
No,
Which-
no, no.
Okay.
Like, I love I love the story of the new Ghostbusters that came out, by the way, because
Mhm.
like originally people hated it because they recast it, which I sat here like, okay, whatever. But if you actually watch it, the jokes just kind of fall flat, which is its biggest problem.
Mm,
Like it's a flat film is a problem. It's not terrible, it's not great. You know, it's not the original Ghostbusters, it's the other problem too. That's got to live up to.
That's
It's
true.
it's hard to recast Bill Murray. Like you
You
that's-
can't. Yeah.
It's the same reason Aladdin's gonna have trouble because you're trying to like
Recast
Will Smith
Robin
is
Williams.
amazing. Like no
Yeah.
one would ever argue that the Fresh Prince is not a god, but you can't replace Robin Williams. Like that's
The thing is,
It's too high of standards.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just. Well, and the thing is, you got to
Um,
make sure that the actor is able to do something that makes it their own take. It's a big
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Which Aladdin's already kind of proving they're not doing that. If you've seen the Prince Ali clip, like it's essentially the same song, just sung
Mhm.
by Will Smith, which is a problem because you want Will Smith to throw his
It's like a
style
lone
onto it.
thing. Yeah. I honestly expected him to rap or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Something.
It would make more sense to me. Yeah.
It's just it makes me not look forward to that over the weekend because I gotta watch that Saturday. It's gonna be my Saturday is.
Movies are coming out so quickly. It's almost like every other week, right?
It's every week
Yeah,
there's
so-
something like me and Steven for the Critically Casual podcast, we have to like plan at least like usually towards the tail end of a month. It's like,
Mhm.
all right, let's plan out the next month, maybe part way into next month. That's usually how we do it. So that we stay on topic, because like this, so May had 4 Friday releases this month.
Mm-hmm.
But because May 31st is the last release day of this month, me and Steven don't do another podcast in May to follow that up. It's in June. So like Godzilla starts off June. And like there's certain films that fall to the wayside. Like we wanted to do Missing Link, but like we knew the claymation one.
Oh yeah.
Bigfoot. Because one, I fucking love claymation. Like it's one of my favorite animation styles in Hollywood. But we also knew that conversation-wise, I think Hellboy came out that weekend, and that was gonna give us a better conversation to talk about. Like we have to balance stupid bullshit that we know we're gonna be able to make, like behind the veil, by the way, everyone watching, slightly behind the veil. Is this going to make, is this really good film going to give us a lot to talk about? Or is this shitty film that you know is bad? Like, Hellboy was so bad, my brother who doesn't watch films literally told me, dude, I heard that was bad. Like, he hasn't watched almost all of the Marvel films. He's not a movie person, right? And he even told me Hellboy was bad. Which automatically kind of set that one in stone as being like the one that, has to be talked about, because we knew we were going to get a way better conversation out of it. And it sucks because I don't want to give them money for that shit. But,
and you have to put yourself through that movie.
Yes! I wanted to walk out, dude. Yeah. I wanted to walk out.
Well, fellas, I hate to do it, but I actually need to clock out. I got stuff I got to take care of.
It was nice meeting you, Toarn.
Yep. Sad face.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize it would come up, but it did.
It happens. Happens.
Yep. Nice meeting you too.
Nice meeting you. Take care, man.
Have a good one.
You too, bud.
Alright, I do have a I haven't even set up the 2. And this is a weird setup that it looks like right now. Hold on. You know what I can do for a moment? Here. Edit this. Give me a second. We'll be on here for just a second. It's a weird look, but
no worries. I'm
just really far over here right now. So we'll just add a scene.
Where are you?
Over here. I don't have my echo on. No capture? Is that working right now? Add new. Okay, that is working. So, and then resize. Just quick fix.
Easy fix. No worries.
And I'll move that up. Alright, that'll work for right now. There we go. You're in my chair right now, just so you know. But
oh.
you have the power seat right now. So. But yeah, so our name tags are gonna be gone for right now, but we can edit that in post. I guess we can move on to the wacky news story of the week.
Sure.
Wacky news story.
That's amazing.
Right? I love it. Just duplicate that real quick. And then add capture. Here we go. I just gotta add an existing capture real quick. And we got, which this is just such a great story. I love this story already.
Oh, man. Is it the Father of the Year?
Father of the Year.
Oh my god.
The greatest father ever.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So what's funny is like seeing that I have like nieces that are in the Girl Scouts. So seeing this story just also kind of like breaks my heart a little bit.
Understandably.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Set this up real quick.
And I see the guy's age. He's not that much older.
Uh-oh.
Well, yeah, which blows my mind.
I think this should work. If I do that. I think. Hold on. Let me fix that again real quick. Got to make some minor adjustments as we go. There we go. And we're going to be really small the way I have to have this set up, but it'll work. So that's the story of the wacky news story today. This is a great one.
It's one of those things like I wish you could make something up like that, but it's too crazy.
Man stole daughter's Girl Scout cookie money for erotic massage.
I don't know. Like, how are the holidays gonna be later on too? And,
Oh my god, right?
And when she grows older, how do you explain like what you like? I needed it. I was just fiending. I needed a tug. I'm sorry. It just had to happen.
I needed the happy ending.
Yeah.
All right.
I know you had a sad ending at the moment. I'll make it up to you. I'm sorry. So he's only 40, but he's not that much older.
Right?
He's like, and it was like, he like if you look at his mugshot, he has a black eye.
Yes, which
So
is so great.
yeah, it's kind of like so the story says he staged it. He staged a robbery at his house, or that they broke in.
Stole $740.
$40, and then just walked to the masseuse and just had his little go.
Oh god. It's just...
But yeah, so he faked the robbery, and I guess the reason why he got caught is because he couldn't explain the missing fund. The blood found in the house was almost certainly Couture's, the prosecutor added. So he kicked his own ass.
He probably has a cut somewhere on like his hand or something.
Yeah.
Because he didn't hit himself hard enough in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he hit himself in the face with. To cause, bleeding at the eye. So he probably, like, did a quick cut on the hand real quick. Got that.
And just spread my own DNA here. I'm going to spread my DNA somewhere else later. It's worth it. Essentially what's going to happen. So so it says he called 911 on himself to report that the house was broken into.
Yep. Oh, God.
Had entered his home through a sliding glass door and fought with him before fleeing. Okay, so yeah, he kicked his own ass and then tried to explain that, $740 was stolen. That's kind of sad. I'm gonna assume that the daughter came home from school and was like, "What happened here?"
Daddy, what's going on? Nothing, darling. I don't know why
Daddy,
that's...
what happened to our money?
Listen, I know what I said about the Girl Scout cookie stuff, but like, we got robbed. So,
Oh my!
I'm sorry.
I want to see the trial. I really want to see the trial and what it looks like.
Oh, dude. The Cookie Yanker Bandit. That is a great name. Holy shit.
Oh my god!
I love my chat. God damn it, that's fantastic. But he pled guilty, so there's not really going to be a trial. It'll just be the
That's
judge
true.
being
It's
like,
just over.
fined
But, like,
$100. He was fined $100 and performs 80 hours of community
As a
service.
community service, so people are gonna be like, he'll be on the road picking up trash with other people, and
There's the
they're
Cookie
gonna ask him,
Yanker.
so why are you here for? And he's just gonna have to explain what he did. I don't know how to say that story, or like,
Oh, dude.
but it looks like he has no shame, so I'm sure he'll be able to just
I
be
mean,
like,
look,
yeah, I did this.
His face
Yeah.
in the fucking trial photo, like, he
I
just...
did it. It was worth it. I did it.
He's just
I
got the...
needed it. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I need a cold one.
Give me a a cold one after that. Come on. Like, God.
Ironically, having used my god voice without the echo. I mean, why do people do this?
Desperation. That's like a face of no shame and desperation and just.
I mean,
I don't know.
I get desperation to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But stealing your daughter's
hard-earned Girl Scout cookie money.
What the fuck?
That's true. Oh my god.
Like, there's in need of some physical love in that.
Yeah. And it's his own daughter, right? And that's like the worst part about it.
Oh god, that is awful. Like, I feel so bad. Oh god.
I'm sorry, Jules. I just needed a rub and tug. It just had to happen. I'll make it up to you, I promise.
Oh god. Were you in here? Stole my daughter's cookie money for a rub and tug. And yeah, no, that's the face of. I don't want to say he's not a monster, but in the spirit of Phil DeFranco, he'd probably be the douchebag of the day, right? He's got to be like one of those.
I would agree, yeah.
Right?
It's crazy because like normally you hear stories about people stealing for their family and like doing these things because they needed to, but this guy just needed something else, so he stole from his own family. Very crazy.
He needed a little extra in his life. I don't get it. Like, why people? Why? It's not even a Florida man story. Would have expected it from Florida.
Not.
No offense, Florida, but all defense, Florida.
The thing is, you could say something in Florida and have like a crazy tagline, and people will just say, "Oh, that's Florida for you." Yeah.
Oh, but like, God, it's just there's a level that I don't understand there. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I'm baffled. I really am. Like, it wasn't even for drugs or anything because he was fiending or, like having the itch. It was like a different kind of itch that he needed fixed.
Well, that's fair. And like the only explanation I can give to it, and this is not me defending the guy, all right? Mm-hmm. But as someone, so like I deal with bipolar, so I understand a lot of like the manic impulse stuff that comes with that. Me and my shrink have talked about it. She's had people who like, she doesn't give specifics, but she, she explains stories of things that have happened. Like she had one person with bipolar who impulsively started to walk down the Vegas area completely naked.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that's just because.
Yeah. That's just what happens,
impulsive,
right? It's,
need to do kind of thing. You don't think like the big thing about it is that you don't think about the consequences for the actions you're committing because the consequences don't exist until they happen.
You're just in the moment.
Yeah. It's full moment thing.
Gotcha.
That's the closest I can get to maybe understanding why he did it, but that still
could also be a horrible sex addict, possibly, maybe, but I don't know. To that extent, you still stole from your own family member.
You stole from your daughter, man.
But granted, I was listening to something and I remember there's been people that have stolen way more from their own family, like Dane Cook, the story of Dane Cook and his own stepbrother, and how he took millions from him. Wait,
Dane Cook took from his brother?
No, Dane Cook's own stepbrother that he hired ended up taking millions, like embezzling money from his accounts. So it does happen, yeah. But I guess the reasoning for this though is just a bit different. They wanted to be filthy rich. This guy just
wanted to be filthy.
Yeah, filthy.
God, I needed a budget button now. Damn it. Why don't I have that yet? I just
note to self: add that to the samples, to the sound effects. Perfect.
After stream, adding that. It's just like. And we had, usually before the show, I had shown them the list of possible contenders for it, but we kept getting drawn back to this just because of how ridiculous it was.
Yeah. Well, like the other stories, I could kind of see happening. Well, okay, maybe not someone getting their house broken into and having their house cleaned.
Yeah,
That's
that
like
was
the dream.
that's odd.
That might just be like a simple mistake, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It could happen. But this one is just awkward. So let me ask you, what was the craziest story you guys have reviewed on this? Like
Ooh.
craziest news story so far? Something that like sticks that you definitely haven't forgotten.
Well, it's got to be the first one still for me because
Mhm.
one, I feel bad because the guy died. All right, and I
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
realize
yeah.
he died until we did the show that day. But the dude who coughed up like essentially the carbon, like the copy of his
Mhm.
vascular system that had clotted up. That one's just imprinted in my brain forever to the point that like months down the line,
Yeah, you
I was
still
on-
remember. Yeah.
well, it's not just that. I think I had forgotten at one point, and then
Oh.
I'm on Snapchat for some reason. Don't use Snapchat; it's dumb. But I went over to see some of my friends' stories, looked on there, and all of a sudden, one of the tagline stories on there is that photo of the thing he coughed up, and I was like,
Up.
"It's back! It haunts me to this day." I literally I screenshotted and sent it to Steven. I was like, "Dude, it's fucking following me."
Yeah. I swear, I thought you were gonna live. You were
Dude,
still
the doctor in
alive.
the first article was like, "And he's perfectly fine."
Did they ever explain why he coughed up like his lining?
Because
It was just so impacted, or?
what happened was that blood had filled it,
Mhm.
and he coughed up the clot in his lungs that had
Uh-huh.
formed from the blood. So
That's nuts.
the fact that the doctor said he was fine is why I did the story. I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, that's insane," and he's fine. Cool.
I can do this. Yeah.
Week later, and he died. I was like,
Mhm.
"Fuck! How do you recover from that?"
That's not your fault. That's it.
I know it's not my fault, but it's still one
I
of those
know, I
things.
know.
It's just like, damn.
I've never. Yeah, that's something that I've never heard of happening to someone. So that's very
It's a
scary.
crazy thing. I could probably find the article again.
Okay.
Lung blood clots coughed up. Yep, found it. Oh god, that image still haunts me. All right, here we go.
I'll take a look at this. Usually I get kind of grossed out, but it's well the things that I've been like watching, listening to.
That's
this
what
should
he
be
coughed
perfectly
up.
fine.
I have it on the stream right now.
Okay.
It's the bronchial tree, as they call it.
Whoa! There's no way.
His doctor, so according to it, November, his condition was so severe that the doctors put him in a machine called a vascular assist drive, which helped the heart pump blood, blah, blah, blah. However, these medications also increase the risk of bleeding, included cough and got blood. We're astonished.
Oh.
God, this site has so many ads pop up. Jesus.
Well, chasing is just saying that it just happens if your lungs are dying. Okay.
Yeah, so even though he had no further episodes of coughing up blood, he unfortunately died a week later from complications of heart failure.
Oh, well, that's not anything. That wasn't based on.
It was
Just
based
the
off
one-
of
yeah.
the stuff he was dealing with, but
Yeah.
the worst part of it was that the doctor in the original article I read was just like, yeah, he's gonna be fine.
He's
gonna be
perfectly
great.
healthy. That's it. Don't worry about it.
But especially that image, it's just embedded in my brain. It's just like, now I know how the bronchial tree looks inside a lung.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forever. It's just etched forever in my brain.
Oh God.
But that's got to be the craziest one that we did, because just one, the
Mhm.
fact that it perfectly coughed up like that is just insane.
Yeah.
And then the fact that, I didn't know that he died. Which is why you should review stories after you choose them. Like, don't... ugh.
Well, like, that was like a week after. So
It was a week later, but it was one of those things I'm just like... Again, why I choose day of now. Yeah, no, it's just... It was one of those things that just forever is stuck. We had some other good ones, like man who shot someone because he thought he was Bigfoot.
You know what's funny? I think I might have heard that before. Like it was just...
it was he.
It has to be in the. Was it in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere?
Yes,
Essentially,
I think it was in Montana. I want to say. Don't quote me on it, but I think that's where it was. And he just, the dude was walking in the forest without his orange vest. Thought it was Bigfoot. I shot. Like,
I was out there. It just happens. It happens.
I mean, I'll give him credit. Dude didn't have his vest on. Should have your vest on if you're in a grounds with hunting. Like,
yeah.
101. But you shot at something that looked humanoid, and you said it looked like Bigfoot.
Call out to it first, and if it something,
and if it makes a Yeti call afterwards, and you're like, then shoot.
Yeah, you're free to go, just free to go ham.
That one stuck too. I think there was another one where dude was saved by a book, by like something in his pocket or something that stopped like an arrow from going into him.
Wow.
That
was
one,
like his chest pocket, I'm gonna assume, or
it was either a chest pocket or in his leg. Like,
okay.
But it like stopped the projectile. It was either an arrow or I don't think it was a bullet. I think it was an arrow, but it stopped it from going into him.
That's pretty good. That's lucky. That's
right?
actually really lucky.
That's shit you see in movies. And I'm like,
yeah, that's essentially
happened?
Deadpool. Deadpool 2.
Pretty much. Every Florida guy story we've done though is hilarious. We've like when we did the Florida Man challenge, that was great because we went through so many. Like we had one where something about robberies. Another like chasing had one because chat all jumped in and tried theirs.
I just remember. I think the very first Florida Man story I ever saw. I don't know if it was real or fake. Where some guy bit his brother's penis off because he used his Dragon Ball Z blanket to have sex with his cousin or something like that. That was like one of the stories that I saw.
Damn.
And I was like, what in the hell is this? And then of course people like you read the comments and like only in Florida. They just don't bat an eye. And yeah, it was normal.
I don't know.
This is a normal thing.
I don't know if it counts as the first Florida Man story, but I feel like the first Florida Man story that blew up crazy shit Florida gotta be the dude who bit the dude's face off.
Oh yeah, but that was the bath salts one, right?
Yeah, the bath salts guy.
Yeah, that's true. That one was pretty crazy as well.
Which that was terrifying.
Yeah, and then you find out that they sell bath salts like in stores, like in like smoke shops, and it's just something you could pick up. Just normally.
Dude, right? Like,
yeah, so that's very terrifying.
Well, it's like with spice as well and stuff like that. Like
exactly, yeah.
Or this other one that like I can't remember what it's called, but it starts turning your skin scaly like crocodile.
I don't know if that if that's the same thing that I saw in a Vice documentary where they call it like crocodile or something.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that should ever be called. Ever.
And it's like a drug that they do because it's affordable, it's cheap, and something they can make, right? Like in like
the
it's
bathtub very or cheap to make and very cheap to buy. So, like
those stories are very scary though.
Oh god, dude.
Yeah, there's tons of them. Like a lot of the Vice documentaries are pretty terrifying too. I think the world's scariest drug, I forgot what it was called. Like they call it the devil's breath, and it's like used in multiple like uses. I forgot what they do with it though.
That's a terrifying name for it.
Well, like essentially, I think one of the stories was that they used to like use it to kind of like kidnap people, I guess, because it puts you in a state where you're just agreeing to anything. So
Oh.
so what happened was they somehow snuck into this guy, and then they went to his house because he was able to like direct them, and they just robbed him blind, essentially. And when the cops came, he was just like, yeah, they took my stuff, it's fine. But as soon as he snapped out, that's when, you know, things kind of like hit the fan.
That's just how some of that stuff is too. Like, yeah, it's called crocodile.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that is
Crocodile.
it.
But it's just like, yeah, it just erodes your body, and some of that
Mhm.
shit's just nuts. What it does to you, like, and
It's yeah. There's a lot of different drugs that do crazy things to your body. I just can't imagine.
some of them get prescribed to you.
Oh, that's true. Some of them are legal, and you know they're there to cure you, but cause other complications possibly.
Well, that's one of my favorite things every time, because like dealing with bipolar, there's depression medication. But if you listen to the list of shit that depression medication can do, and most of it is like,
Yeah.
may cause depression, may cause you to want to commit suicide. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? How have we not figured out a way around that part?
Yeah.
Because the big thing that people forget about depression is that, like, you're just in a state of meh. Essentially, is the best way to put it. Like, you just don't
Yeah.
have energy to do things. It's the big part of it. It's like those depressing thoughts you have, you don't have the energy to act on it. Which is why having bipolar is dangerous, because manic depression is, you know, combining energy with bad thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's why when you get like the ups from the depression medication, you're more likely to do that kind of stuff, is because you still have the thoughts going on because it hasn't been fixed yet. But you suddenly have energy to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's messy. Drugs
it
are
is.
messy.
Some like crazy side effects, or like the funny ones that like say they're there to heal you, but may give you like 8 hours of diarrhea.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Or I recently had, because I just got diagnosed with like migraines. And I went into the clinic the other day, and like one of the things that they said, all right, this shot, we're gonna give you 20 minutes. One of those shots that go into your fucking ass cheek, which
Scariest ones. Yeah.
yeah, I hate those
Because the
ones.
needles are always so goddamn big.
It was uncomfortable. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like, you know, you only show like the top of your ass too during it too, so you're just like, you're into this weird state where you have to hold it down with one hand. I'm holding onto the bed with my other ones because, you know, I hate needles. So it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
100%.
needles suck.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, so I gave you the shot, 20 minutes, just make sure you don't have any allergic reactions or anything. You may feel some burning, because this one's one of those burning ones that like feel really, they just make you feel really hot, kind of like you just had a
Yeah.
shot of liquor. You know, 20 minutes pass, I don't really feel anything, but I've also been laying down. Stand up, start going to the car, sit in the car, I'm like, man, my ass is hot. Shit. Fuck. Just sitting there. Like, the side effects we give like, we don't give this shit that, but like the side effects this shit has, it's just so weird.
Yeah. Well, like, not every medicine is gonna work for everyone the same way too, which is like the scary thing about, I think, depression medication.
Oh yeah, dude.
'Cause- yeah. So like, there has to be other ways or other things, definitely.
Well, that's like for some people, that's why, like, I personally believe that, you know, we should continue investing in searching into what, you know, marijuana can do for people, because like CBD has been a huge help for a lot of people with
Multiple uses for different things too. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
It's so universal. Like, it helps with people with PTSD,
Mhm.
anxiety, depression.
Aches, migraines. There's so many different uses, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Your appetite, sleep,
Oh
Just
yeah, dude.
the
Like,
ranges of the medicine is crazy.
you just smoke this, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's essentially what it is. So it's just like,
Yeah.
you know, the people who are like, it's bad for you though. I mean, yeah, smoking is technically bad for your lungs. Yes.
Mhm.
But also, I know
But-
people who have asthma who smoke,
Yeah.
weed, and because of it, their inflammation goes away and they can breathe again. I'm just like,
Which is one of the weirdest
it
things.
really
right?
is.
Very ironic. Yeah.
Like,
You don't have to smoke it anywhere, right? There's different. You could even. What's the craziest thing is you can pick it up on Amazon now. You can get like gummies, I guess, right? CBD gummies.
wait, it's on Amazon now.
Yes, it's on Amazon. So
As
you
I
can,
say, I'm in Washington. I could probably walk down to the corner and be like, "Hey."
I'm in California. I could walk down the corner and just be like, "Hey, bud tender, hook me up with something that's gonna make me sleep. I also need an appetite. Can you give me something for an appetite, please? It'd be perfect."
Need something for sleep, depression, anxiety, migraines.
I have an ache in my knee and my toes are hairy. Can you give me something for that?
How
too?
old are you? 24. What the fuck have they done to you? Oh, and that's the thing. Like the other thing too is like, I found out that I shouldn't smoke stuff that has high THC in it. Due to the fact that like it mixes weird with the chemicals in my brain, because manic is it escalates that. It's similarly why I shouldn't drink, but
Yeah.
I do that. A little late for that after a certain point.
What's funny? My dad always said like I'd rather smoke weed than drink alcohol because alcohol I've noticed has brought out like the worst in people. You see arguments started because people get shit faced and they're macho. But like whenever I've seen anyone on weed, they just want to eat more. That's what exactly what my dad said.
Chill.
Yeah.
I haven't I smoked once. I think it was 2000. It was when I first started my channel. Actually, I went to Spokane to meet up with my friend. She was driving from Montana, and one of our favorite bands was playing. And we had just both moved up to the Northwest from Arizona.
Yeah.
And so we're like, "Yo, let's just meet up in Spokane. A Day to Remember's playing. Let's go."
A Day to Remember. That's
I got to see
legit.
them, All American Rejects, and Blink-182.
I am jealous. That's amazing.
It was a great show. Blink-182. It was after what's his name left.
Okay.
If Soyo was here, he'd slap me across the face and say the name.
Is this when he started Angels and Airwaves, or?
When he started chasing UFOs.
Oh, okay.
His name Tom something? No. I'm blanking on his name. If Soy pops up,
that's amazing though. So you gotta. That's pretty cool.
It was a great concert seeing those ones.
Yeah.
I've seen Mumford and Sons. I've seen who else? I've seen Panic, which Brendan Urie live is something special.
I found out that he's whatchamacallit, a mommy. I don't know if you know Your Mom's House podcast. But he's into like weird comedy too, and farts and all these random things. He's very down to earth from what I can tell so far.
He's very down to earth. I've been seeing him show up in basically I do works videos from Fortnite and stuff. He's playing with him and Courage.
I forget that he's actually a Twitch streamer.
Dude, I followed him as soon as that first one popped up. I'm like,
just
followed. Same with him and Sam Ryder, the guy who played from Force Unleashed, and played Maul in Clone Wars.
So he's also a Twitch streamer as well?
He's a Twitch streamer now too.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right? That is someone that I would love to meet.
Back in the day when like you shouldn't be don't play games, go outside and play a sport. Now it's just like I'm gonna stream and play games. Okay.
I voice characters in video games. I might also play them for a living. I'm like,
right.
Well, that's like Nolan North and Troy Baker have a full-fledged channel with Retro Replay now. Like, and I think they're part of Rooster Teeth now too. So, like, because all their content's on their site now. So that's cool. like just looking at how like online profiles have changed since then. Like, and I use Rooster Teeth as my major example for this, but like seeing them go from, hey, this is a series first episode Red versus Blue, to being probably the biggest internet media provider at this point. Like,
I would say they are. They should be. I would assume.
Well, because of the compass of channels that they have now too.
Yeah, like they're a large umbrella, right?
Yeah, they have all of the Let's Play family, which is like Funhouse, Game Attack, Screw Attack, which isn't Screw Attack anymore. They're Death Battle.
Their Death Battle now, yeah.
Yeah, which is sad that the Screw Attack name went away, but it's on the shelf. They're not getting rid of it. It's more of a. They're not...
I guess that's all they focus on now, right? Is just
yeah.
Death Battle.
The channel was kind of just Death Battle, and it's like, honestly, it just makes sense. Like, if you're gonna just focus on Death Battle, having the name Screw Attack, where you're not doing the Screw Attack content really anymore.
Yeah, because they were variety when they were Screw Attack, from what I remember.
Yeah. They had skits, top tens, Death Battle, and like video game stuff. So they had a full-fledged stuff like set. And then Craig and Sean left for Game Attack, started their own channel. So, which kind of started the like fracturing of Screw Attack, because then like Nervous Nick went over to the No, which is now Inside Gaming. And then Chad is now like running the Rooster Teeth YouTube channel, which is insane. He's in charge of that. And then Ben and everyone else is kind of in charge of just Death Battle stuff. So.
And that's understandable, yeah.
It's such an iconic name that it's weird to think that it's not really there anymore in the way it was.
Well, I didn't notice that change until you actually brought it up, because I always knew it as Screw Attack's Death Battle. But then now that I think about it, yeah, most of their focus has always just been Death Battle, like the last couple, I want to say months now, right? Maybe even longer.
I want to say they started to make the transfer about a year ago.
Okay.
Where they realized that like a lot of their content wasn't, like, they kept it very consistent, because one, YouTube's algorithms are a bitch.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They really are.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to make it so that people finding their channel can focus on one thing. And a channel that, and they didn't erase all of what happened on Screw Attack. It's on the Rooster Teeth website now, all of the videos.
Yeah.
I think it's all on there now, or it's being backed up there soon. So they'll still exist in some form or another. But when you're searching for Death Battle and suddenly like you've got top 10s, you've got random skits coming up, it really messes with the algorithm, because YouTube wants you to stay on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if they can't keep that retention, they're not gonna get us promoted on there. So it's just YouTube is just a weird pain in the ass algorithm that you have to fight.
And you'll find like if you search up one video just out of curiosity, it's gonna pop up in the algorithm. They'll just start suggesting you things that you didn't really plan on watching.
Yeah. Like every time you watch a clip from like Naruto or anything, and then suddenly your feed is, hey, best scenes from this episode. I'm like, I just clicked on one.
Just one.
I just wanted to see the pain fight. Why?
Learning how to like, I don't know, stretch because you have like a back problem, and suddenly now you're just getting like chiropractic videos and all this other shit.
It's
head massages from India. Just
it's so like, as soon as you click one thing, it's what you see forever.
It's done. It's over for your search.
Like,
that's it.
The amount of compilations that I've now clicked on because it's on my fucking like recommended for you, and I'm like, that seems funny.
That looks cool. I'll give it a watch.
Click on it, I guess. Fucking stupid algorithm. Click. Fuck you. Like, I have to actually go to my subscriptions tab to see what was uploaded today by the people I'm following on YouTube, and see what I want to watch today, and not use the actual like home page, because like if I watch one fucking video, it's what I have to see forever.
And not just that, but then sometimes you go down the rabbit hole and you're stuck. You're just stuck.
Yeah.
Started at 7 at night. Oh shit! It's 7 in the morning. I gotta go to work. This is horrible.
The amount of times I've done that, where it's like, oh, another, TN compilation from Team 4 Stars, Dragon Ball Z Bridge. Yeah, sure.
I'll watch this.
16 compilations later. Fuck, it's 4 in the morning? What? When? What happened? I just watched all of season 6. Like, oh god. And ending up going down a rabbit hole of conspiracy vids purely by clicking the recommended. Dude, never pick the recommended side of the videos. Like, there is some garbo that they throw up there. Like, it's God, I hate their algorithm. Like,
Mhm.
it's one of the reasons
Like-
why I like this better. Like, on Twitch, it's just easier to
You're-
understand.
Yeah. You're not like watching an anime video, but they're suggesting, I don't know, like why the Earth is flat, like some guy's conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
On the next
exactly.
recommended, yeah.
Stuck with robots reading Reddit. That is. There's another rabbit hole.
Yeah. Or like robots watching a series and then writing a script based on the series after. That's pretty crazy.
I love
Yeah.
that. But it's just like the algorithm for Twitch makes sense. Like they recommend channels that are going to be more
Very
towards
similar.
what you've been watching.
Mhm.
So it's just
I'll be honest though, as a viewer, I tend to just go straight to my following page for the most part.
Same.
Yeah.
The only way lately I've added channels that I follow is through raids
Mhm.
and hosts that people do. So
Yeah.
like, I know it seems weird, or like if I'm going to raid or host someone, like if I'm playing Zelda and it's like, all right, let's host someone from the Zelda community real quick.
Mhm.
Click on someone there and host them and like, oh, you know what, this is pretty chill. I'll hit that follow button. It's just a weird, like, it's weird but more understandable, like how
Yeah.
growth happens on there. Well, over
Mhm.
on YouTube, it's like we just started uploading podcasts over there this last 2 months, I think.
Okay.
And like, I don't expect it to grow quickly over there, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it's like I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to like.
Grow in the first place, right?
Pretty much,
Or-
like.
Yeah, or how to market this, or like when is it gonna get traction, or
Well, the other
like
thing too is like YouTube is very select on how long a video should be,
Yeah.
which is rough for podcasts because like you kind of pass that threshold of people's attention span.
Mhm.
But if you
I forgot what the number is. It's short though, right? It's like
10 minutes is what they want. You
Mhm.
want to hit the 10-minute mark because you can get more ad revenue from it if you're able to make ad revenue.
Mhm.
And it's kind of in that threshold of where people's attention starts to wane. So
Yeah.
it's right in that soft zone. So 10-15 minutes.
You'll see people that like make these compilations or upload their videos and they do exactly 10 minutes, but they stretch it out for as long as they can to get to that 10 minutes.
See, the worst part is when people who actually have like, because editing videos is a pain in the ass. I love
Mhm.
it, but it's a pain. But like having 4 hours of footage and being like, all right, time to cut this down to
That's probably
potentially
the
4
worst.
videos, because you got to cut off all the boring stuff. Like
Mhm.
prop hunt. There's plenty of moments where I've played prop hunt, and I'm just sitting there for a moment, waiting for someone to show up so I can mess with them. I'm just
Yeah.
sitting there. I'm trying to give good commentary as we're doing it, but like,
It's hard. I get.
it's just difficult. But because you want to cut out the bad parts,
Mhm.
make sure it's in that 10 to 15 minute range. And being accused like, man, you're just stretching this out. I'm like, there's 3 hours of footage.
You
not
don't know where I
used.
cut this down from. You don't know the struggles of trimming this.
Like, and towards the end, I stopped editing so much to them when I
Mhm.
first stopped doing YouTube stuff. Now I have someone that's helping me with that. So, huge shout out to Steven for that.
That's always good.
I don't know, he's great at it. He's actually made my like some of my graphic stuff that I use on my stream. He's made almost all the panels that this channel
Mhm.
has. Like especially for this podcast, he created all of these. And it's just like he understands that side of things more, so that's why I'm like, all right, you can focus on this. I've been on Twitch longer. You've understood YouTube longer. Here we go.
That I get.
I'll never understand YouTube anymore.
It's a different world from when it first came out, right?
Oh yeah.
It's yeah.
Well, especially for gaming. Like gaming is
Yeah.
not as viable on YouTube anymore.
Well, I guess like because so many people uploaded so many different things, I feel like everyone goes to YouTube now just to learn how to do something, or find like highlights of like, I don't know, an event that they are interested in compared to like gaming. I don't know. I remember when Twitch was like Justin TV, and that's like way back when.
I wasn't
Yeah.
on during then. I'll say that.
So I was only there because I feel like a lot of the fighting game tournaments I used to watch were on Justin TV. And even then, like the quality then and compared to now, it's crazy because like just an everyday broadcaster has like quality that's way better than what was before.
Oh yeah,
it's-
like the fact that I have that Razer, the Razer camera with the ring light on it.
Yeah.
I have that. I have an Audio Technica mic, a mixer,
Mhm.
like.
You'd be lucky to get like 30 frames per second, like for a fighting game tournament that's supposed to be a major. That's how crazy it was, and if it wasn't pixelated, that means like they spent a lot of money on their stream. Yeah, it's different. It was a different time.
Now everyone can do that. Like if you're not
Yeah.
hitting 60 frames, like I look over, the fuck, I'm at 30 frames. Why?
Just 30 frames. Just- can't imagine.
And that's the thing. Like YouTube, when it was only like the highest quality was 480.
Mm-hmm. 480p, or even like if you got a 240p video, you're like, oh, this is watchable.
Yeah, this is watchable.
I could deal with this.
It's so funny because I'll go back and watch like old DBZA, right? Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
Yeah.
If you watch the original ones, I think it's only 360p.
Yeah, it was. And now like you're like, I can't believe it. This doesn't even hit at least 720. What is this?
like if I'm on my phone, I'm usually on 720, but if I'm on my
Yeah.
PC, it's like 1080p all the way. That or die. And when the videos don't do it, you're like, oh yeah, there was a time where they didn't do that. That's right.
I feel like it's because internet speeds way back then were just
Oh god.
god awful too, right?
Fucking dial up.
Mhm. Mom, hang up the phone. I'm playing RuneScape. Mom, stop it! Just hang up the phone.
I want to check MySpace.
I'm chatting in the AOL chat room. Just let me chat real quick. Hey, yo, girl, ASL.
God, that fucking noise, dude.
Oh, that
There's
has
a
to be like
gen-
a startup.
there's-
That's like for a stream.
Oh, dude, yes, it's got to be
That's
someone's.
on-
But the fact that there's an entire generation that doesn't know that name or that sound at all
Oh, yeah.
is terrifying to me.
It's kind of crazy now that you think about it. We have gone through so many changes and so many different things. A lot of these kids are lucky. Like,
Yeah.
they're spoiled.
Well, and
The thing-
the big thing I've talked about is that like our generation is people who were outside as kids but
Mhm.
had to be super tech savvy as they were growing up.
Yeah.
It's like we were
Yeah.
the start of it, like the big tech boom, as we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were outside playing with sticks, sword fighting, but also had the first phones being like, all right, this is how T9 works.
Oh my god, Tina. Jesus Christ. Like,
Shit was hard.
have you ever thought of like the advancements of phones too? Like going
Oh
from
my god.
the fat bricks to like a sidekick to like the smartphones of today. It's crazy. It's
The
pretty
fact
nutty.
I have this, like this, beautiful Google Pixel, love it.
Mm-hmm. And
But I
what it
used
can
to have the
do, and-
Nokia brick.
but that thing survived so many different
oh my
things.
god, right?
Like
and,
you could drop it from a 10-story building, it would survive.
and you gotta play Snake.
And yeah. I remember I spent like I don't know how long it took, but there was like a video of Snake actually being completed, and I sat through all of it just because I had to see it. I had to see what it looked like when the game finished.
Yeah, I think people said that one might have been hacked, but it's the only explanation. Like, there's
Yeah, there's no way
or
someone
or
could.
was it AI did it?
Yeah.
Which is the only way, like an AI trained for hours and repeat the process. I'm like, all right, this is how I do this.
Mhm. Bump bump. Fuck. Bump bump. God damn it! Just
Okay,
It's
that
repeating.
restarts. Got it. But even then, it's still amazing. I remember me and my friend, we would I'd set my score on my phone, and one day he had my phone, and he's like, I beat your score on your Snake. I'm like,
you what?
fucker,
You,
What?
you get angry. You get angry. You're like, I'm not sleeping tonight until I get this right.
That's how
This
it
has to
was.
be
I was
done.
like,
yeah.
because me and him were, I love him to death. He's
Mhm.
great. But me and him were super competitive. Me because I've always been very good at a variety of games. Just
Yeah.
playing a variety of games is my thing. I've always been at least half good, I'll say, at them.
hmm
But then this motherfucker, like one day we were playing Tony Hawk Underground 2, and he pulls off tricks I've never seen before. He gets this crazy score. He's like, I've never played this one before. I'm like, motherfucker, what?
Yeah. You're like, it's on. It's on. That's it.
Or in fighting games, man, it'd be immediately just me and him, like, what? Just the entire time. It's also a different era too, because you don't really have those kind of lane setups or
Mhm.
like console split screen games.
It's different. You can play online and just not have to share a screen with someone anymore. You have your own screen. There's no such thing as an arcade, essentially too. Like arcades are somewhat
God,
dead.
right?
Yeah.
Closest we
so
get is Dave and Buster's.
hmm
Not bad,
Oh.
but
Yeah. It's different. Times are different.
really is. So, I think
Mhm.
we're about that time. I think hit that
Sounds good. Sounds
hit that
good.
hour. Jim, where can people find you?
Twitch.tv eclectic. That should just be it. That's like my main place of streaming.
All right.
Yeah.
And then I'm your host, DorkyDev, but you knew that. Make sure to follow us at Har Har HQ on Twitter. Follow us here on Twitch. You can also follow us over on YouTube as well now, since we're over there. So
Ooh.
that's great. You know, so all that fun stuff. We also have a Discord now for everyone, so make sure you hop in there too, because if you have cool, interesting articles that you want to give us, you can put them in there too.
I will be sure to send some articles your way.
There's spots for all that, and topics if you want to throw them in there too. So
For sure.
thank you all for watching tonight.
Thank
We
you for
will
having me.
Oh,
That was
of course,
fun, guys.
it was great having you on. That was fun. So,
Let me know, man. I'm down.
all right, cool. We will see you guys on Sunday with Critically Casual and Wednesday with T-Pop. Back here again on Thursday. Good night.